Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here in New York's Bryant Park, but we would rather be in Italy. And why do I say that? Because the woman next to me sells tours to Italy, and her name is Sherry Moore, and she's with My Bella Vita. And we're going to talk about what kind of tours she sells and where she goes. Some really interesting places, including one destination I think is really the future new destination in Italy. And we're going to talk about that and more on Insider Travel Report. First of all, Sherry, thank you for braving the New York elements here in the freezing cold, but it's actually kind of nice, right?
It's gorgeous. It's yes.
So tell us about this. Tell us about your tour. Tell us about My Bella Vita. When did you start the company?
We started in 2007, and we feature Calabria. That's our baby, our niche, and
that's the one I want to talk to.
Yeah.
But you do feature other things.
We do. Calabria is our heart and soul, but we do cover all of the country, Sicily and Malta as well.
And you're also starting to branch out to other destinations in Italy, right?
Yes, absolutely. So we do tours all throughout Italy, custom vacations for people all throughout Italy. We have small group tours that are mostly in the south and then over to Sicily and Malta.
So why Calabria?
Oh, well, because I'm doing my best to become Calabrese. My husband is from Catanzaro, which is the capital of Calabria, and I met him 25 years ago, and I was like, oh, he's cute. Is he Italian? Is he like Spanish? And he was from Calabria. So I looked it up on a map, and 5 years later, we got married.
Down at the boot, the lower, it's the heel of the boot right there.
The toe,
the toe of the boot, yeah.
Like kicking Sicily.
Well, and I was telling you earlier, I've been to Italy many times, but that's a place I've never been to. And then, of course, when everybody was discovering Puglia, and oh wow, we've discovered Puglia, and everybody went, but they still hadn't found Calabria. But maybe you're going to help them discover Calabria.
I'm doing my best. Yes, I love it, and I am completely biased, but I think we have the best people, the best food, and we have really amazing experiences that are really hard to find in some places now.
That's great. Now, do you consider yourself a luxury tour operator?
Whenever people come to me and they say they want to do a luxury tour, we have a conversation about what that means, because I think luxury means different things to different people. So, I mean, we are limited in the properties that we have. There are some really gorgeous properties.
That's the one thing I saw. I didn't see a lot of 5 stars, but there are some, and they're expanding. I mean, every time you look around, there's a new hotel being built somewhere. So I'm sure that Calabria is up for getting 5-star hotels soon.
Absolutely. And then what we do is we can kind of create that luxury as well. So maybe we rent a private villa for a family group, and then we have a private chef come and cook meals and teach you how to make an aperitivo, and do different things at the villa that maybe in other places you'd be able to do in a luxury hotel.
So let's go back before that. Before you started the tour operator, what was your background in travel?
I worked at Disney World in Orlando, and then I transferred to Disneyland Paris, which is where I met the cute Italian.
There you go. And then it was that was the end of the story, and you're off to Calabria. Now, was he still living in Italy back then?
He was, yes. So I moved to Calabria, and we lived in Calabria about 8 years full time. That's where our son was born. And so I think I gave birth in Italy. That qualifies me as being like Calabrian at this point.
There you go. Yeah. And I'm sure you've been there many times, right?
Oh yeah, we have a home there. So we spend about half the year in Texas and the other half of the year in Calabria.
That's an interesting division of lifestyles, I think. Right?
It is, but they're both warmer than New York City.
As of right now, absolutely. Now, you focus on Calabria, you do Sicily, and of course Sicily has become hot these days. I haven't been there for years, but it's an amazing destination. Do you find there's a lot of demand for Sicily as well?
There is. I mean, with the movies that are taking place in Sicily.
The White Lotus, that was the
Absolutely.
one that everyone knows, and now they're moved to Thailand. So now that so wherever there's a White Lotus, it's interesting. So yeah, and so I knew a lot about Sicily. Again, I didn't know a lot about Calabria. And so what is a typical tour to Calabria? What would you? How would you? You're going in a small group. Where would you take them?
So Tropea is the name right now in Calabria travel, and it's like it won like the Village of Villages, the Borghi dei Borghi in Italy last year. So being like one of the most beautiful villages in Italy, it is our most touristy place. And so you have on that same coastline, you have Pizzo Calabro, which whenever you go to the restaurants, you're gonna be sitting near locals. You're gonna really have real local interaction. And I think that a lot of the people who come to us, that's what they want. They can do Rome and Venice and Florence and these other amazing places in Italy, but then when they come to Calabria, they want to talk to Calabrians. They want to eat like meatballs like their grandmother used to make, and that's what we do.
You also sort of specialize in heritage travel, so people who are descended from people in Calabria, they want to go back and discover their roots, right?
Absolutely. That's really how we started. We were one of the first companies that specialized in heritage tours, the first who did it in Calabria, and it didn't even have a name. So we kind of played around with different terms. Now Italy calls it roots tourism.
Yeah, so that's great. So you got roots there. And of course, how did you expand to Malta, though?
Oh, well, I had a client who messaged me and she wanted to go to Malta. And so I was reaching out to other people to get help. And I Googled like how, like what time her plane would have arrived from Malta to Calabria. And I said, oh my gosh, this flight is $45. We're going to Malta.
So for that price, I'll go anywhere, right?
Yeah, so my family and I went to Malta and we just fell in love with it. And we do a lot of, I mean, as you know, in travel, there are a lot of places that you go and you check out that don't really make the cut, but we just fell in love with Malta.
And I totally agree, because I was in Malta last year for 4 days and I fell in love. It's my favorite Mediterranean island. Well, my islands, if you want to do with Gozo, and I think there are 3 islands there, but the island of Malta and Valletta is wonderful. Great food, great wine that you can't find anywhere else. And I'm sure that's the case with Calabria. I'm not sure how much wine comes over from Calabria.
Not a lot. I was at a wine shop in Beaumont, Texas once, and I found a bottle of wine from Calabria, and I was so excited. And I said, this is the oldest continuously produced grape in the world. It goes back to the ancient Greeks at the very first Olympics. And the guy said, yes, ma'am, that'll be $28. Like, he was so disinterested.
You're getting all excited about it, and he just said, give me my $28, I give you the wine. That's it. So, and then the same goes for Malta. Malta has incredible wines, incredible food, and such history. And I was able to stay there again in great hotels. I mean, that's the difference. I think you're still building up hotel infrastructure in Calabria, right?
We are, absolutely. And so that's why a lot of the luxury from our trips really comes from the one-on-one experiences, the private guide, the private driver, the access to things that you can't get anywhere else. And so our whole team lives in Calabria. And so, I mean, up to now, there's never been anything that people have asked for that we haven't been able to do.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, you offer sort of planned itineraries, but you'll also do you'll create special trips for people as well, right?
We do, and so much more of what we do are actually customized trips because people have heritage, and so we build their itinerary around where their grandparents came from. And we do research into their heritage before they come, so we find out the town, the part of town that the family lived in, maybe the house is there, maybe the street is there, which church they went to. We find out if the baptismal font is the same font that was there whenever their grandparents were baptized.
You have to go deep in research here.
We do. So we do all of that before they come, so then they just are there and it's just kind of rolled out for them, because genealogy is fluid. I mean, you never stop asking questions.
Now where are you starting to sell elsewhere in Italy? What other places do you go to?
So I really love doing Calabria, Basilicata, and Puglia. People love Puglia. We do a Taste of the South tour every couple of years, which starts in the Naples area, and we just cover like parts of Basilicata that people haven't visited. Of course, Matera is amazing, so we have to go by Matera. Try the bread in Altamura. We visited last year a woman-owned winery that's really exciting, and yeah.
So you can really create different things in this region. Because as I said at the beginning, that I think Calabria is a region that really is is there to be discovered as we discovered Puglia a few years ago. I mean, everybody goes to Amalfi. I love Amalfi. Like Como, I have good friends up there, and Venice, Rome, all the great cities, but they're all still places to be explored in Italy, right?
100%, yes.
That's amazing. Now, and what's the size of the group basically you're going to work with?
If we are doing our small group tours, those are a maximum of 12 people. But for our private groups, we have done one person up to like 45 or so. I mean, so
the whole family came over, right?
The whole group, yeah.
That's great. Now, what, there are obviously a lot of DMCs and tour operators to Italy. I know a lot of them. What's your kind of secret sauce? What's your difference, would you say?
I think it's that with our American-Italian connection. So I'm American, so I understand what Americans want and expect, and even some of the nuances in travel. But my team is in Italy, and I live half my life there, to be able to make that translation into what they want and to what we can give them. And then I think the fact that we're literally on the ground. I'm there during high season with my whole family. We have someone who's full-time in Calabria on the, a phone call away from people who are traveling. Our operations manager lives in Calabria, but is Canadian.
Okay. So that's great. So now, how can we go out to about 128,000 travel advisors here in the U.S. and a little bit of Canada. How can they best work with you to get their clients to these wonderful destinations?
Yeah, I love working with travel advisors, and
I assume you pay commission?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so I've had that asked both ways, and so sometimes people will ask me to give them net rates because then they want to build more of a package. Otherwise, we do commissions like 15-18%, and so we try to be really generous with that. And then we prioritize their clients as well, and so their clients are VIP'd for us because the people traveling are their clients, and then they're our VIP. The agent is our VIP.
Now, so you would suggest that they contact you, and if they have someone who's interested in these regions, really the specialties. You're a Calabrian specialist, but you do Malta, you do Sicily, and you're starting to branch out with other places in southern part of Italy. So just give you a call and or email you, and you can work it out. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. If they want to call or email, that would be great. And a lot of times Calabria or southern Italy is the reason, but then we do everything else for them as well. So we can put all of their Italy stuff together that they need, and then it's easy for them to pass that on to their client.
And now, where can they reach you? What's your website and your email?
Okay, it's mybellavita.com. Okay. So our email is cherry, like the fruit with an E. I think it'll be written down.
Yeah. We'll have that below.
Write that down. Yeah, so it's cherry@mybellavita.com. The website is mybellavita.com. Our phone number's on there. I have WhatsApp that comes directly to me. The emails go to our team.
Fantastic. Well, Cherry, it's great to meet you here in cold New York, and we'd rather be in Sicily or Calabria, really. And I got to talk to you about a trip to Calabria, because I tried to do it once, and I just didn't know what the resources were. So now we have a great resource to discover this literally undiscovered region of Calabria. Although you discovered it because you married one.
I did. Yeah, it was do or die. I dove in, and I love it.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, and hope to see you in Calabria one of these days.
You too. Thank you, James.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.